Welcome on into the All Aussie Rules YouTube channel. We've got another season preview coming up today. It's the Carlton Blues 2026 AFL season preview as we work towards AFL season kicking off for another year. We are working our way through every single club, doing a season preview, looking at recent history of the club, depth list, depth chart for every single team. This one's obviously Carlton. The best 23, according to us here at All Aussie Rules. When I say us, I mean me. And a look at the fixture and everything we can expect to see from Carlton in season 2026. There's already two teams up on the channel, Adelaide and Brisbane. We're working our way through alphabetically, so go check out those ones. We also do a podcast every single week, so go check them out. Plenty of content on this channel as well as on Spotify and Apple Podcasts for the podcasts, and all over social media. All Aussie Rules everywhere. Go check it out. Give follows, subscribe, like the videos, leave comments, all that sort of stuff. It all helps. Let's jump into Carlton. That's what you're all here for. 2026. What's in store for the Baggers? Before we go forward, we need to look back. Last year, not a great year for them. It started really poorly. They struggled early. There was a period there where they looked like maybe they could get stuff going, and then they fell apart again not that long after the bye, mid-season bye. So they ended up 11th, 23 matches, 9 wins, 14 losses, not fantastic. Their offense really struggled, just 78.2 points per game, which isn't enough, let's be honest. You're not going to win too many games if that is your average. The best teams were up around about 190 to 105, roughly. So they're at least 2 goals off really contending, I think, offensively. Defensively, they're not too bad. 10th rated in the competition. For example, Brisbane were, I think, conceding about 78 points per game. So they're only a couple points off the team that eventually won the premiership. So defensively, I think they did a pretty solid job. Throughout 2025, it was offensively they really struggled to get things going. Certainly struggled for any consistency up in the forward line. Obviously, 2026 with their list changes is going to really change that forward line completely. So we'll see how that plays out, whether that is indeed a benefit or a hindrance. We'll find out pretty soon. It's certainly going to look a lot different, though, in 2026 than what it has the previous 4 or 5 years at Carlton Land. Speaking of the last 4 or 5 years, here is their last 5 years of results. Obviously, as we said, 2025, 11th, 9 wins, 14 losses. 2024, they finished 8th on the ladder, made the finals with a 12 and 11 record, ended up losing that elimination final against Brisbane up at the Gabba. 2023, they finished 5th in the home and away season. Did a good little finals run. They won their elimination final, they won their semi-final, and then they lost a prelim final to Brisbane at the Gabba. So 2 years in a row getting knocked out by Brisbane. So that was a solid year for them. The year before, 2022, I think a lot of people will probably remember this year. That's the year they should have made finals. They finished 9th, 12 and 10. They were up in their final game with a chance to win it, and Collingwood overran them late. So 9th in 2022. In 2021, they finished 13th, 8 wins, 14 losses, which is their worst year in that 5-year period. 2 finals runs, 2023 a good one. Outside of that, I don't think there's been too much to write home about for the Blue Baggers. In a positive sense, they've shown plenty of signs of good stuff, but they just haven't been able to really move that into a great finish. Obviously, 2023, arguably, first quarter was huge in that prelim, but they couldn't hold on. So that's where the Blue Baggers are. Let's move on to the list changes for Carlton from the end of last season to this year. And this is a lot. There's quite a few compared to certainly the teams that were finishing better. Adelaide, Brisbane, the two that we've already done, had a lot less than these. So, ins for Carlton, they've got Ben Ainsworth, who comes across from Gold Coast, Campbell Chesser, across from West Coast, Ollie Florent and Will Hayward both come across from Sydney, and Liam Reedy comes across from Fremantle. They also use 3 draft picks. Harry Dean's their big one, key defender, pick number 3. A good prospect for them if he can develop the way that perhaps they think he will. They might have a really good one on their hands there. Taylor Byrne at pick 45 and Jack Ison at pick 47. Worth noting as well, not on this list, but obviously Jagger Smith was a draft pick from last year who didn't see the field, got injured in their preseason game. He's going to be joining this team this year. So basically another in Jagger Smith, who was a first round pick. I think he was like pick 5 or 6 or something from memory. So another good in there. Outs, this is a long list. Charlie Curnow is the big one. He goes to Sydney. Corey Durden goes across to Port Adelaide. Couple more big ones. Tom De Koning and Jack Silvani both go to Carlton through free agency. Sam Doherty retired at the end of last season. And then Jackson Binns, Alex Chincotta, Orazio Fantasia, Elijah Hollins, Harry Lemmy, and Will White all delisted. So they're the ins and outs at time of when I did this. I don't think anything's changed yet in that list. Certainly not off the top of my head. What do we think of the ins and outs? Is it a positive? Is it a negative? I mean, there's some good players coming in. Obviously, Reedy is that backup ruck. Harry Dean's a good draft pick. Florent and Hayward will both go into their best 23, as will probably Ainsworth. Chesser, maybe a borderline depth player. But they definitely lose at minimum 3 players that were definitely in their top 10 players. Charlie Curnow, Tom De Koning, Jack Silvani last year, all 3 of them were in their top 10 players. So to lose 3 players of that level is going to be hard to replace, especially when one of them is a 2-time Coleman medalist in Charlie Curnow. Granted, his last couple seasons perhaps haven't been at that level, but he's certainly capable. Tom De Koning and Jack Silvani, after a career best start to his season last year, obviously didn't play the full season due to injury, but from what we saw, he was playing some really good football. So that is going to be a bit of an out that Carlton have to try and cover. Whether Harry Dean's ready to cover that, we'll see soon enough. But at the moment, that is how it stands. Now, moving on to the depth chart for the Blues. We're starting in the back line. We do a rating system here at All Aussie Rules. We rate every player every single game, and that basically is what we're using here. We then put them into categories based on their position. So top 10% of every position is elite, and they are your purple ones. Blue are your top class, so that's 10 to 25%. This is all based on 2025 numbers. Green is your above average. Yellow is your average, which is below 60%. Above average was 40 to 60. 25 to 40. Average is 40 to 60. And then below average is everyone below 60%. Red didn't play last year. And the pinky colour is everyone that was drafted this season, in between seasons. So looking at the Carlton Blues, obviously a lot of general defenders on this list based on last year's numbers. Nick Haynes, the only one that goes into the top class category, had a good year. Lachlan Cohen, not too far behind. He's in above average and pretty solid. Adam Sard, Ollie Hollins, Nick Newman. Nick Newman didn't play, so he could potentially rise up to be in that category, probably above average, maybe. And then Matthew Carroll, Billy Wilson, Jordan Boyd. They need better output from these halfback, medium-sized backs. Based on last year's numbers, I think they do need to find at least one more that gets into the top, probably 50. At the moment, they've only got the 2. Whether that's Sard or Nick Newman, or Ollie Hollins, for that matter. Obviously, 2 players that didn't play last year, Harry Charlson and Rob Monahan. But yeah, you want to have 3 in the top 50 if you can. I don't know if they have anyone that's capable of being a top 15 general defender, like medium-sized defender at the moment. Maybe someone will really shoot up and have a really good year this year. maybe Lachlan Cohen's that player, but at the moment I don't know if, from what I've seen, that they do have someone capable of that, which isn't necessary for success, but certainly helps. Key defenders, they do have someone capable of being elite. Jacob Wiedering, 100% is. Last year was only rated top class, ranked number 9 as a key defender in the competition. Had a good year, don't get me wrong, but wasn't quite his best season. Mitch McGovern was solid enough, 29th. Harry O'Farrell, when he played, was okay. Lewis Young, same story. It's a bit of an issue, obviously, losing Jack Silvani, who would have been that second best key defender for them. I think he was ranked 11 or 12 in the competition in our rating system last year as a key defender. So that's a big loss, and one that they're going to have to try and cover. Obviously, Wiedering is capable of being a top 5 key defender this year, which would be helpful. But is anybody else capable of being top 25? Mitch McGovern wasn't too far from it, maybe. Harry O'Farrell would need to improve a fair bit. Lewis Young, same story. And Harry Dean's first year, you can't expect too much from him. You'd more so want him to be your third key defender, not your second. So we'll see how that plays out, but that's how the backline looks for the Blue Baggers in 2026. Moving forward to the other end of the ground, in the forward line, and this is how it shapes up. We got, first for the general forwards, so medium-sized forwards, we got Matthew Cottrell and Zach Williams, who both were top class rating last year, pretty solid numbers. Francis Evans, also in above average category and had a good year, numbers-wise. Ben Ainsworth joins the club. Lockie Fogarty. Will Hayward probably had one of his worst years of his, maybe not his whole career, but certainly over the last few, last year. So he'll be looking to bounce back. He's certainly capable of being in that top class or above category. So he's the big one that see how he fits in at this club. Jesse Motlop is next. He was ranked 73. Flynn Young, 88. And obviously Taylor Byrne, who was just drafted in the off-season at pick 45. So there's potential in this lineup. Goal kicking wise, I think Will Hayward's probably your biggest prospect there. If you can get a goal and a half out of him a game, that certainly does help that offense roll. They'll probably need at least that from him this year, I think, if they're going to have much success. He's capable of being, top class, as I said. Ben Ainsworth is probably certainly capable of being at least above average. So I think they have maybe 4, 5 probable players there that look in that good enough range, top 40% of their position. So that's probably one of their stronger positions, is their general forwards, even though they really struggled last year. Granted, 2 of those 5 are players that have joined them from other clubs in the off-season in Ben Ainsworth and Will Hayward. So they have stocked up that position, but in the key position, maybe not so much. Harry Mackay, there's a lot of pressure on him. He didn't play that much football last year. I think it was like 10 or 11 games off the top of my head. He was ranked 5. He rated really well when he did play. If he can get anywhere near his best of like the 2020 season, around that period, it will be hugely beneficial for them. He's capable of going at more than 2 goals a game. If they can get 50 plus goals from him this season, that would be absolutely massive. Brody Kemp as their second key forward at rank 17 is solid enough. It's that third key forward that they're really struggling with at the moment. They've got Hudson O'Keefe and Ashton Moore on the list. I don't think we've seen enough from either of them to expect too much from them just yet. But a lot's going to be riding, I think, on Harry Mackay this year. And if Brody Kemp can take that next step and get into the top 10 key forwards, that would also be hugely beneficial for them. Moving into the midfield for the Blues, they have a bit of depth, no doubt, inside mids especially, also outside mids as well, if we're being completely honest. George Hewitt was their highest rated player last year, at 19th best inside mid in the comp, top class rating. He was sensational through most of the season, and I think that's a fair assessment of him. Patrick Cripps had a down year compared to the previous year. He's certainly capable of getting that rating back over 125. He was one of the highest rated players the year before. I think top 3 or 4 behind Bont was obviously number 1. So he had a bit of a down year last year in ratings, and also the eye test. I think most people would probably agree. But he's certainly capable of being in that elite range. Sam Walsh, look, he's capable of better than last season. I think he's capable of being a top 20 inside mid. We haven't seen that consistently yet. Whether we will, I don't know. But they have good variety there, because also Adam Chera was 39. So 4 midfielders inside the top 40 is really good, going by the law of averages. And I think certainly Paddy Cripps is capable of being elite. If they can have an elite, a top class, and 2 above average this year, that would be really good for them. Cooper Lord, we didn't see a hell of a lot of him, but he's okay without breaking any records. Obviously, Jagger Smith's the big one for Carlton. He's currently the favourite for the Rising Star. He's probably, from his draft class, which was obviously 2 seasons back now, hyped up as probably the best ball winner in that draft class. Obviously didn't play last year at all due to injuring himself in the practice game, but we will see if he lives up to that hype. Because if he does, I wouldn't be surprised to see him average over 20 touches a game, 22 touches a game this season. If he does that, that's probably going to be close to enough for the Rising Star. So look at him getting plenty of midfield time, I think, this season. He'll probably be that rotating player. Now there's 5 on the bench, you've got that extra run as well, so we'll see how that plays. Jack Eisen, pick 47. I don't know we'll see too much of him this year. We might get a bit of a go in the back end, we'll see. Outside midfielders, I've got a few here as well. Blake Acres dropped from being, I think he was he top class the year before? He was certainly either top class or elite in 2024. Dropped right back, 26th best, and in the average category in 2025. Had a bit of a down year. Really struggled throughout most of the year to get to the same consistent levels as he did the year before, when the team was playing a little bit better football. Ollie Florent joins from Sydney. Adds a little bit to the wing role here. I don't know if he's going to change much in terms of Carlton, but we'll see. His best is certainly capable of being at least above average, but we'll see. Campbell Chesser joins from West Coast. We haven't seen a heap of him yet. Still a developing player. We'll see if he can take that next step. Lucas Camporelli played some games early season. Didn't see a great amount to suggest that he was ready last year, but it's 12 months later now. Another off season under his belt. We'll see if he's ready. Ben Camporelli, his brother, was probably the higher prospect. I think he was drafted before Lucas. They have some high hopes, I think, for Ben, so we'll see if he can get out on the park this year and make a statement. And then their rucks, they've got 2 options at the moment. Mark Pittenay, obviously, and Liam Reedy. They lose Tom de Koning. Pittenay ranked 15 in the AFL, so certainly down towards the lower rungs when you consider there's 18 teams close to the bottom of that. And to be honest, he's probably not capable of going too far above that. He could maybe sneak into the above average category, maybe. But I wouldn't be relying on that. We'll see how that plays out. Liam Reedy, they've brought across as ruck depth. They need him. I doubt he'll play all the time. He probably won't play much unless Pittenay is out, in my opinion. But maybe he does. We haven't seen much from him last year to suggest he's better than Pittenay. But yeah, we'll see how that plays out across pre-season and into the actual season. This is the best 23 according to me, how we've put it together. Let's run through the lines. Up forward, Zach Williams, Harry Mackay, Will Hayward will probably rotate deep forward and half forward flank, maybe even onto the wing at times. I think at Carlton is a possibility for him. He'll be a huge in for them. They need a lot from him. They need a lot from all this forward line, to be honest. Half forward, I've got Cottrell, Kemp, and Ainsworth. Centre line, Blake Acres on the wing with Florent on the other wing, Sam Walsh in the middle. And then your followers, Mark Piternay in the ruck, Paddy Cripps, George Hewitt. Halfbacks, Luke Cohen, Mitch McGovern and Adam Sard. And then your fullback line, Nick Haynes, Jacob Wiedering and Harry O'Farrell. On the interchange, I've got Adam Chera, Ollie Hollins, Francis Evans, Jagger Smith and Nick Newman. So there's plenty of new faces on this team, plenty of faces that have left that were in the best 23 last year. It's an ever-changing team, and it probably will be again at the end of this season. They're probably going to have some more changes, I would guess, depending how this season goes. But if this season goes as we expect, they'll probably have a few more changes coming up. The next 6 on my list in the emergency roles, I've got Cooper Lord, Lockie Fogarty, Matthew Carroll, Lewis Young, Campbell Chesser, and Liam Reedy as the backup ruck. Who may play him as there's 5 on the bench now. They might use that as their option with the second ruckman. We'll see how teams take that. I don't think anyone's fully convinced we know exactly how that's going to play out in season 2026 just yet. Moving on to the final part of this video, and that is the fixture analysis. I look at where they play, who they play, and everything in between. First of all, we got 4 games at home. They're classified as home games, so obviously they play a lot more than that at Melbourne, but that's games when they're at home and the opposition is not at a ground that they call home ground. Next, we've got 6 away games, 13 games at neutral venues, 17 games in Victoria for the year, 2 trips to South Australia and New South Wales, and then 1 trip to WA and Queensland. Their buys are in round 2 and round 14, so that does mean they're kicking off in opening round. Multiple games against teams that they play multiple times. Brisbane, who finished 1st last year. Richmond, who finished 17th. Collingwood 3rd. Fremantle 8th. Western Bulldogs 9th. And St Kilda 12th. That is a tough draw, let me tell you. So 3 teams that played finals last year. 2 of them finished top 4 in Brisbane, Collingwood. Then you got the 2 teams that were fighting for 8th spot in Fremantle and Bulldogs. Plus you got St Kilda, who many expect to move up the order this year in the ladder. And their only easier option is Richmond, who finished 17th last year. So their draw, according to our stats that we did when we did the fixture release, has them as the second hardest draw in the AFL this year. Gold Coast number 1, Carlton number 2. So that makes it tough for a team that didn't play finals last year to have a really tough draw. Looking at it, it's not going to be easy. Things are not going to be easy for Carlton this year, I don't think. And with all the changes they've made, that's certainly the way it reads, in my opinion. It's going to be a struggle for them to finish top 10 and play finals, in my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm always interested to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Go check out all the social medias. All Aussie Rules everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, we got it. All Aussie Rules. We'll be back with another video tomorrow. Collingwood season preview coming out. Don't forget to check out the podcast. 2 episodes every week once the season starts. 1 episode every week at the moment. We'll be doing pre-season game reviews as well in those podcast episodes. So make sure you followed or subscribed so you don't miss anything. I'm John. This is another episode on the All Aussie Rules YouTube channel. I appreciate you for being here, and I'll catch you on the next one.